we work to strengthen Malaysian opposition parties. And guess what happened 2 months ago? After 61 years, they won. I visited, and I was sitting there with many of the leaders, the new leaders of this government, many of whom were just our partners we had been working with for 15 years. And one of the most senior of them, who's now one of the people running the government, said to me, gosh, IRI, you never gave up on us even when we were ready to give up on ourselves, right? And we're sitting in the Prime Minister's office. Here we are. Guess what the first step, really one of the first steps the new government took? It froze Chinese infrastructure investments. This is not a hugely pro-American country. It's probably never going to be an actual US ally. But this is going to redound to our benefit, right? And that's an example of the long game.
So there you have it. And I've pointed out in previous videos that the National Endowment for Democracy, even though they say up here supporting freedom around the world, you've got people like Damon Wilson from the Atlantic Council, a pro-war corporate-funded think tank that gets its money from arms manufacturers, oil companies, and banks. There's people like Elliot Abrams, who's a war criminal. He is a literal criminal that required a presidential pardon. He was overseeing death squads in Latin America as part of U.S. regime change efforts there. And he has been directly involved in trying to overthrow the governments of Iraq, Iran, Venezuela. And he's a very vocal proponent of Israeli aggression all over the Middle East. You also have people like Scott Carpenter, who literally participated in the illegal U.S. invasion and occupation of Iraq. He was part of the provisional government there. He was this white American man literally running the country, which is what the NED is actually all about. It's about setting up the modern day equivalent of the British Empire's administrative system, where they would rule over a country like Malaysia. They would get locals into the administrative system to help run it, but ultimately everything that administrative system did was to serve the British Empire. This is what the NED is setting up in countries like Malaysia, Myanmar, here in Thailand, everywhere. Everywhere the NED is active, this is what they're doing. It's modern day imperialism. And I talked about the regional effort the US is involved in to create chaos in all of these countries, not just Malaysia, but also Thailand, Myanmar. They were doing it in Hong Kong. The protesters themselves will invoke the term Asia Spring in reference to the Arab Spring. So I just want to remind people of this New York Times article from 2011. U.S. groups helped nurture Arab uprising. And if you come down here, they mention by name a number of the groups and individuals directly involved in the revolts and reforms sweeping the region received training and financing from groups like the International Republican Institute, the National Democratic Institute, and Freedom House. And then they talk about how they are subsidiaries of the National Endowment for Democracy. It's worth repeating over and over again, because no matter how irrefutable the evidence is, I'm still seeing an alarming, it's a minority, but it's an alarmingly large minority of people who still get into the comment section and say, this is not real, this isn't true. If you don't believe any of this information, go to the video description. I put the links to all of these. You can look with your own eyes. You could go to Malaysia Kini's own website and see where they list the National Endowment for Democracy as one of their funding sources. Or George Soros' Open Society is one of their funding sources. Regarding Anwar Ibrahim here, who liked to participate at the Bersih protests out in the streets, people have tried to deny that Anwar Ibrahim is a U.S. puppet. And that's after watching a video where I show a photo of him literally in Washington, D.C. with the president of the NED participating in an NED event. This is from the 2007 NED annual report, their Democracy Award. If you go down to page 3, zoom in to this picture. That's Anwar Ibrahim right there to the left. And there's his name right there, Anwar Ibrahim. This is him in Washington, D.C. That's the president of the NED. You could see everyone from the NED, the NDI. This is another NED subsidiary, CIPE. They're all there. He's hanging out with all of them. And if you're like, well, that's 2007. That's a long time ago. Maybe he's changed. This is from 2019. Right here, that's him talking. The Embassy of Canada and the National Endowment for Democracy present the 5th Annual Seymour Martin Lipset Lecture on Democracy in the World, featuring Anwar Ibrahim, President, People's Justice Party of Malaysia, on confronting authoritarianism. Where? The Embassy of Canada, Washington, D.C. So that was 2019. The U.S. interferes in countries all around the world. These are the people the media platforms and the organizations that are enabling the U.S. to interfere in Malaysia's internal political affairs. And one last thing to mention, the U.S. might pretend like they're trying to help support democracy. I want to point out again that democracy is a process of self-determination. If a foreign country is involved in your democratic process, they're not helping it. They are undermining it. That is called foreign interference. It is a violation of the UN Charter. It is undermining a nation's sovereignty. That country and the people in it, and only them, are allowed to determine their fate and their future. The US trying to influence that is a violation of the UN Charter. So I'm sure in the comment section of this video, I'm still going to have people say that it's fake. If you are on the fence or you are genuinely open-minded and an honest person, please go to the video description and look at the links and look at it for yourself. I'm not making this up. These aren't photoshopped. Check it out for yourself. Nobody said that you have to be happy with your current government, but make sure when you're in the frying pan, you don't jump out into the fire. This is what happened in 2011 during the Arab Spring. People were legitimately upset with their governments. The US had opposition groups out into the streets, draw these people out, and helped trigger a chain of events that have destroyed entire countries ever since, ruined the lives of millions of people from North Africa to Central Asia and everywhere in between. Asia needs to be careful. They need to avoid doing this. The Arab Spring, it could be argued that maybe people didn't see it coming. When you have protesters out in the street backed by the US government shouting, "Asia Spring," they're telling you that they're going to do it again. Are we going to wake up and stop them in time? If you thought this video was useful, please like and share it. Think about subscribing. It's free to do and it helps the channel grow. Again, please check the video description for all of the links that I just talked about. There's also ways in the video description where you can help support my work, either through a one-time donation or by becoming a Patreon member. Through Patreon, you can help support my work month to month. I give some of my Patreon members a sneak peek at upcoming videos. There's channels of communication where we can share ideas and kind of build a community around this work. For people who are helping, even if you're just sharing my articles, or putting a kind comment in the comment section, thank you very much. All of that help is appreciated. And to everyone, as always, thank you for watching.